Call this evening's meeting to order exactly at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, January 6, 2026. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Bembas,
Here.
Councilman Carter,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey,
Here.
Mayor Gillis,
Slay.
Oh,
Council,
God.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Here.
Councilman Scarback.
Here. Can I make a motion to excuse, Councilwoman Kathy Harris today?
Support.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Can we have a moment of silent prayer? And as we pray, please keep in the mind of the family of Addison Hoover, the little girl that tragically lost her life in our community.
And if we could too, and I know I'm going to go crazy on her last name, so I will just say, former Councilwoman Helen Meldrum's sister, Anna, who worked at CVS Pharmacy and was working at Kroger, and I'm pretty sure everyone in the city has bumped into Anna at least once. Wonderful woman. She passed away last week. And yeah, that's it.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved.
Support. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have an agenda. We have two presentations this evening. Our first is our audit presentation by McBride Manley. Ms. McBride?
Good evening, Mayor Gillis, council members. My name is Curtis McBride. I'm a CPA for McBride Manley and Company. With me this evening is Amy Delia. She's one of my business partners. We are the CPA firm that audits the City of Algonac's financial statements. So I'm here to present the results of our audit for the period ending June 30, 2025 for the city. Now, before I get into the slides, which are obviously up here on the screen and you should all have in front of you as part of your board packet, I want to first talk about our audit opinion. There are three types of opinions you can receive from your auditor. The first is what we call a clean or unmodified audit opinion. That means we believe your financial statements are in compliance with our professional standards, not just ours as a firm, but as a profession, as CPAs. And they are reliable. The second type of opinion is what we call a qualified opinion, which means that for the most part they're in compliance, but there may be a few exceptions to that. And then the third type of opinion is an adverse opinion, which is like it sounds. That means it's not reliable and the information is not accurate. So I am pleased to announce that the city did receive a clean or unmodified opinion with respect to your financial statements at June 30, 2025. I want to make clarifications with respect to that opinion. Number one, we're not providing an opinion on the financial health of the city. That's not the focus of our audit. It's on the accuracy of the financial statements. Secondly, you can receive an unmodified or clean opinion on your financial statements and still have what we refer to as internal control findings in your accounting processes and have to make what we call auditing journal entries to your financial records in order to render that opinion. So you can receive a clean opinion even with internal control findings and having to make adjustments to your financial records. Now moving over to the slides, on the next slide please. The first fund I want to talk about is the general fund. The general fund primarily derives its revenues from property taxes, state revenue sharing, and federal, state, and local grants. So here we're looking at the computation of the fund balance, so part of the balance sheet for the general fund. You can see your general fund finished the year with just over $3.9 million of total assets on hand at the end of the year. You can see the majority of it was liquid, cash, of about $1.9 million. You also had about $995,000 in short-term investments. I believe these were primarily CDs that you had at North Star Bank. So against the $3.9 million in assets, you had about $963,000 of liabilities, which left you with an ending fund balance level of about $2,956,000 in your general fund at the end of the year. To put that into perspective, that is about 78% of your revenues in your general fund, or looking at it another way, it's roughly 63% of your annual expenditures in your general fund. So, in my opinion, that's a healthy fund balance level, a solid fund balance level in your general fund at the end of 2025. On the next slide, here we're looking at the income statement for your general fund, comparing 2025 to 2024. I'll get into more specifics in subsequent slides, but if you notice, total revenues went from about $3,685,000 in your general fund in '24 up to about $3.75 million for 2025. So you can see a slight increase in revenues generated in your general fund from '24 to '25. You can also see that your total expenditures increased. You had about $3 million in expenditures in 2024 in your general fund, and that came up to about $4.7 million for 2025. And again, I'll talk about that a little bit later. But if you're just focusing on 2025, you can see you generated $3.75 million of revenues. You spent about $4.7 million, so you actually used up about $947,000 of your general fund balance during the 2025 fiscal year. That's primarily because you transferred about $1.6 million over to your capital projects fund, and that was used to pay for pool and some community center costs. On the next slide, we're looking specifically at revenue sources comparing '24 to '25. As I mentioned previously, total revenues did go up. They went up about $69,000 from '24 to '25. You can see that property taxes increased from about $1.77 million in '24 up to about $1.87 million in 2025. That's not because property tax rates increased, because they did not. It's because the taxable values associated with those properties increased from 2024 to 2025, but the rate, the millage, stayed the same between '24 and '25. You can see one of the major differences is special assessment. So you generated special assessment revenues in 2025 of $136,000. That's your public safety special assessment. 2025 was the first fiscal year for that. So you obviously didn't have that in 2024. You can see another increase is refuse fees. So that, you can see that went from $320,000 in 2024 up to about $376,000. That's because on the expenditure side, the costs for the garbage collection also increased. So you had to recoup those costs through user fees. So that's why the revenues associated with the garbage collection increased. So you can see, looking at the pie chart, it really drives the point home that your general fund is primarily supported by property taxes. That makes up about 50% of the revenues in your general fund. And you can see that state revenue sharing, those are the distributions from the state of Michigan, make up about 15%. But those two revenue sources really make up a substantial portion of your general fund revenue, so you depend on those. On the next slide, looking at expenditures by type, again comparing 2025 to 2024. As I mentioned previously, expenditures did increase from $3 million to about $4.7. That's because you transferred $1.6 million over to capital projects during the year. And I know it's kind of buried in here, but you can see Public Works Department also had an increase in costs. It went from $518,000 in '24 up to about $594,000 in 2025. That's where those garbage collection costs are. The costs associated with that contract are part of the Public Works Department. So that's why that department increased. And of course, on the revenue side, we just saw it was offset by the increase in revenues. Looking at the pie chart, you can see that public safety made up about 31% of your budget in your general fund. That's typical of a community that offers public safety services, right? Police services and a fire service. You would expect public safety to make up a substantial portion of your general budget. 2025 was a little bit distorted because you can see transfers to other funds made up 35%. But again, you're not transferring $1.6 million over to capital projects every year. So 2025, that kind of distorted the information for '25. On the next slide, the next two funds I wanna talk about briefly, but they're very important, are the street funds. So here we're looking at the major and local streets. These funds primarily derive their revenues from distributions from the Michigan Department of Transportation. The important thing to note about these funds is that these are what we call special revenue funds. And that's because their resources are restricted for a special purpose, a specific purpose. And that's for the maintenance and construction of streets throughout the city. These funds cannot be used for any other purpose. They can't be used for general operating purposes. They can't be used in the general fund, in other words. So looking at the balance sheet, beginning with Major Street, you can see it had about $1.44 million of total assets on hand, about $12,000 of liabilities against the assets, which left you with about $1.43 million in fund balance in Major Streets. Local streets, you had about $1.25 million of assets, about $36,000 of liabilities, and that left you with just over $1.2 million of fund balance in your local street. And again, as I mentioned, these have to stay within the streets. Those fund balance levels can't be moved over and transferred over to your general fund. On the next slide, here we're looking at the income statement for these two funds. Starting with Major Street, you can see you generated about $438,000 of revenues during the year. You can see $408,000 was from distributions from the state. Those are your MDOT distributions that are going into your Major Street. You can see you spent about $294,000 in Major Streets, so you had an increase to your fund balance level in Major Streets during the year of about $144,000. Over in local streets, you generated about $419,000 of revenues. I want to point out something here. You can see you have transfers to and from other funds, right? You have Major Street Fund transferring $199,000 out, and then your local street fund receiving $199,000 in. That's because during 2025, your Major Street transferred $199,000 over to local streets, and you are allowed to do that. So you are allowed to transfer up to 50% of your major street distributions from MDOT over to local streets. You are allowed to do that under Public Act 51 of 1951. In local street, you spent about $138,000, and that left you with an increase to your fund balance level of about $281,000 in local streets for the year. There weren't a lot of significant projects going on during the 24-25 fiscal year, but over in local streets, there was work done on North Elm and Chestnut Streets. So those were, if you want to call them the big projects during the year, those were the repaving projects that occurred during the June 30, 25 fiscal year. On the next slide, I have a few slides here before I get into trend analysis, beginning with state revenue trends. So you can see state revenue sharing going back to 2019. So these are the funds that are going into your general fund. You remember that made up about 15% of your general fund revenues. So you can see you generated about $429,000 in revenue sharing back in 19. It came up over $500,000 in 2022, and you generated just over $551,000 for 25. So you can see a positive or upward trend here in state revenue sharing. And then moving over to distributions to the streets. So these are those MDOT distributions that are going to your major local streets. So you can see you generated about $466,000 in 2019. It came up over $500,000 in 22. And as I mentioned previously, you generated about $571,000 in distributions to the street. So again, a positive or upward trend here in distributions to the street funds. On the next slide, we're looking at property taxes for the city going back to 2019. So you can see you generated about $1,321,000 back in 2019, and you can see a positive or upward trend here, and it came up to about $1.87 million for 2025. So there's about a $555,000 increase in property taxes in 2025 compared to 2019. And again, as I mentioned previously, that's not because rates increased, it's because the taxable values associated with those properties increased from 2019 to 2025. The interesting thing about this, before we move on, is if I took this all the way back to 2009, believe it or not, in 2009, you generated just over $1.6 million in property taxes in your general fund. If you notice, you didn't generate another $1.6 million until 2023. So you were generating about the same amount of property taxes in 2023 as you were in 2009. So 14 years. And obviously, the cost of operating the city has certainly increased from 2009 to 2023. The reason that happened is, if I'm sure everyone here remembers, we had a bit of an economic crisis in 2010. Housing values declined in a very short period of time. So property taxes followed suit. So what happened is, due to the limitations placed on the increase in property taxes under state law, due to the Headley Amendment and Proposal A, it has taken almost 14 years for the city to climb out of that hole that it experienced back in 2010. And if you remember, the city relies on property tax revenues. That makes up about 50% of your general fund revenues. So that's a pretty substantial hit. Thankfully, now it has recovered, and you're starting to see that steady increase. On the next slide, here we're looking at the historical fund balance level for your general fund. Again, going back to 2019. Your fund balance level was about $1.86 million at the end of 2019, came up over $3 million at the end of 2023, and currently sits at about $2,956,000 at the end of June 30th, 25. So the good news is, even though your property tax revenues, you were generating about the same amount in 2023 that you were in 2009, you were able to maintain a solid fund balance level, and even really, for the most part, looking at the trend, have a positive or upward, trend in your general fund balance level, because you budgeted appropriately in your general fund to account for the loss in revenues. And as I mentioned, 2025 really was an intended use of general fund balance, right? You transferred that 1.6 over to your capital projects to help fund the pool and the community center. The last two funds I want to talk about here are the water and sewer funds. These two funds are significantly different than the streets and the general fund. These are what we call enterprise or proprietary funds, and that's because these are supposed to be self-sustaining funds. So theoretically, the city charges the users of the water and sewer systems at rates that are sufficient to recoup all the costs associated with running those plants, and theoretically enough to set aside for future infrastructure improvements. These are supposed to be self-sustaining funds, and so they're accounted for more like a for-profit private business than a government. So looking at the statement of net position, you can see in the sewer fund, you had just under $2.7 million in assets at the end of the year. But if you notice, there's an asset category here called fixed assets of $2.2 million. So that is the actual sewer plant itself and all of the major infrastructure associated with the plant. Those are not liquid assets. So even though you have $2.6 or $2.7 million in assets, $2.2 million is tied up in non-liquid assets. You can't pay bills with fixed assets. So that's one thing to keep in mind here. You can see you had liabilities against those assets of about $183,000. That left you with an ending net position of about $2.5 million. But again, if you look at the two categories of net position here on the bottom, $2.2 million is tied up in those non-liquid assets. So the liquid portion of your equity, of your net position in your sewer fund, was only about $286,000, which is low. Looking at water, you can see a similar situation here. You had just under $9.3 million of assets on hand, but almost $7.8 million was tied up in the water plant and all the major infrastructure assets associated with the plant. So the majority of that was not liquid. You had about $437,000 of liabilities against the assets, which left you with $8.85 million in net position for equity. But again, $7.7 million of that's tied up in the plant. Just over $1 million was your liquid net position in your water fund. On the next slide, we're looking at the income statement for the year. Now I want to draw your attention, we'll start with the sewer fund, about 3/4 of the way down at operating income or loss line. So if you notice, your sewer fund had an operating loss during the year of $341,000. Similarly, your water fund had an operating loss of about $164,000 during the year. And honestly, part of the operating income was the state grant you received for the drinking water asset management grant. So if it wasn't for that $292,000, your water operating loss would have been substantially higher than the $164,000. So I'm gonna get to this in a couple slides, but this kind of leads to, some of the observations or recommendations. When this happens, that means that the rates certainly are not even covering operating costs in these two funds. So I guess moving on to the next slide, it's a good segue to observations and recommendations. You gotta get it again, maybe. Thank you. One of the big things is accounting for grants. Obviously, the last couple of years, there's been a lot of grant money running through the city with, the pool, the community center, and you have a lot going on in your water and sewer. And so our recommendation is that the city treasurer, we recommend that she's involved in the grant application process. Maybe it doesn't have to be the person filling out the grant application, but needs to be involved in the process. And the details of those grants need to be shared with her to ensure proper accounting, because if she's not involved and doesn't have the information, it's gonna be very difficult for her to account for that properly. And with most of these grants, whether it's federal, state, or local, the timing of when they get recognized is critical. There are a lot of complex rules as far as when the grants and the related expenditures get recognized in your accounting records. So you could have significant differences or significant errors if these are not accounted for properly. So that's one thing that we observe or recommend going forward. The next thing, we talked about this, or actually this is a new one, water and sewer billing. So water and sewer billing is always a high risk for us during our audit, because we know that water and sewer rates change every year. So we're on high alert, so we actually check and recalculate a sample of bills once the rates change, to make sure that they're being, that they've been set up properly, that the new rates are in the billing system, and that those are actually being billed to the residents. So unfortunately, during the 25 fiscal year, we found that users with multiple REUs were not updated for the new fiscal year 2025. And we discovered it just by running a sample of calculations. So we recommend that there is a process put in place by your accounting department, your treasury department, that each time new rates are approved by the city commission, that someone is literally recalculating those, a sample of those bills to make sure that those rates have been updated for all of the users in the system. That's critical. On the next slide. Staying on the water and sewer, we talked about this when we talked about the water and sewer fund income statement. So the water and sewer fund they both had operating losses during the year, we saw that, which is likely the result of inadequate rates. The user fees, as a result of the rates, did not even cover the operating expenses for these two funds. So theoretically, the rates should be based on an operating budget. So before the new year, theoretically, a budget is developed for these two funds, and that's really what is supposed to support what the new rates will be for the next fiscal year. So at a minimum, those rates have to cover those operating costs. In addition, you have to consider your future infrastructure needs for the two plants. You need to make sure you're setting aside money for those future infrastructure needs. And there's a lot that can be discussed on this topic. In other words, this really leads into, you should have a capital improvement plan in general for the city as a whole. But really, since the water and sewer systems are so capital intensive, it's, in my opinion, it's critical that there is a capital improvement plan, probably that goes out 10, 15, 20 years for the plants to help identify and project future costs, which then will support billing rates. So, I really think this year, that is very critical. So I did have a discussion with city manager, Bryson. I recommended that the city get a hold of the Michigan Rural Water, Association. They're a great group. I've seen them work in a lot of other communities. And honestly, the majority of their clients, and it's all municipal clients, have a population of under $15,000 residents, so 15,000 residents. So really, the city of Algonac is kind of in their wheelhouse. So I really recommend that the city reach out to them, and I believe you did already, because they have tremendous resources. They're very detailed. They're providing an amazing service, and they really will help you tackle this, because a small community like the city of Algonac, this is a very difficult task to take on by yourself.
I watched them do for Marine City,
Mhm.
and I watched him specifically, and amazing,
They are amazing. I mean,
absolutely amazing.
they can provide data and how you measure up to other communities, and where your rates are.
Yep.
Are they high, are they low compared to, they have probably access to data from 200 communities throughout the state of Michigan.
Yeah, I was impressed, I was very impressed.
And they actually help you communicate with the general public. A lot of educational resources and meetings.
Yeah.
Free of charge, I believe, which
It
is
is,
included
yes,
in the
free of
membership.
charge.
Who doesn't like free?
Is there another one? Oh yeah, year-end reconciliation process. So we recommend that there's a process implemented for the city to reconcile the balance sheet accounts for all of the major funds to help prepare for the independent audit. So that makes the independent audit run smoother. So I have shared worksheets with Alicia that we use. I don't mind sharing those as part of our reconciliation process that we use to independently reconcile the records. And so when I talk about major funds, I'm talking about the general fund and the street funds and the water and sewer funds. Those are what I would refer to as major funds, where I think this would really be relevant and helpful. This would not only help the city internally, because it's gonna help ensure that you have accurate records that are being presented to you as council members, but it's also gonna help the independent audit process as the year is over. It'll make that run more efficiently and smoother. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. McBride. Any questions for Mr. McBride?
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, and I have a couple. We looked at the Blue Grass City of Algonac property tax revenue trends.
Mhm.
So it's shown that our property, as you said, our property values are going up. How would you compare our property values going up to other similar sized communities in St. Clair County? Are we trending like other communities? Are we behind? Are we
Honestly,
ahead?
I hate to give you this answer. I would say pretty average.
And that's fine.
I will
That's
say
fine.
there are other communities I see where it hasn't been at this level,
Okay.
and others that are taking off more than you. Again, I think it's, but looking at this relationship, this looks pretty normal to me from what I see in other communities, I guess is the.
And the first thing you said, and I wanna clarify it, and I forget the exact word, there's 3 ways you look at the audit. You know, your first, what were the 3 different ways?
Oh, the 3 opinions?
3 opinions.
Sure.
Clean.
So there's what we call it in the professional language is an unmodified audit opinion, but
And that's what
that's a
you
clean
gave us.
opinion, correct.
So that means our treasurer's doing a pretty doggone good job for the most part.
Yeah, I would say, if you're putting me on the spot.
Yes,
that's
I'm
it.
putting you
I
on the spot.
still think she needs assistance. I think
Okay.
she needs to continue to improve, gain experience.
Okay.
And, I shared it with, I believe I was here in September, and I shared it with commission then. Again, city treasurer, Alicia, she is very capable, but she's only been in her position for year 3 now, going into year 3, 2 years?
And that's fine, just want an honest opinion.
But yes.
So then I would, put our city manager on the spot and say, as we said during your interview, it's your job.
Yep.
To develop our good potential.
Right. And
Treasurer.
we've already had some
Yeah.
conversations on that, and
Right,
We're gonna smooth it out. And get
because
some-
even though she may need some more development, she's only been in there 2 years, she's still got a clean audit,
Right,
Yes,
and that's the important
Yeah.
part, so
she,
she just needs
she's
to,
very capable.
absolutely.
I think she's a little more capable.
Well,
I think she's,
yeah.
I think she's done, considering, you know,
And I think
You
she
just
has,
started
at
this and
least
done
if
an
not
awesome
everybody,
job.
she's got my 100%
oh,
support.
me too.
Absolutely.
And I just wanna point out, I don't wanna say I've been doing this a long time, but what I'm seeing as a trend is a lot of city treasurers, you know, whether it's a village, city, township, a lot of them that are, you know, the non-elected position, treasurers, a lot of, you know, you're starting to lose treasurers that have been in those positions for decades.
Right.
And so, this is a common thing, it's not unique to the city of Algonac, so now all these communities are transitioning from, you know, city treasurers who've been there for 20, I mean, geez, I think I worked with one who was there for 40 years. You know, that's, you know, how do you quickly or easily replace someone like that? It's very difficult, you know, so this is a situation that's not unique to the city of Algonac.
Thank you, and thank you, Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia.
Anyone else?
No.
Thank you, Ms. McBride. Thank you, Alicia, congratulations. Greatly appreciate it.
Yay.
Thank you for your time, council.
Thank you, sir.
We have another presentation this evening, the Algonac Business Attraction Plan by City Manager Bryson.
Yes,
Mr.
thank
Bryson?
you, Mayor Gillis. What we did, and this is a draft, and unlike an audit, you know, it is what it is. This is a living document, more like a budget, and it should be updated, changed, modified to suit our needs. I just wanna make sure that's clear. And, the whole intention is to attract more business to our area. And, the plan, the overview for the plan is a 14-point strategy, to attract and retain businesses. Focuses on our waterfront, downtown, and quality of life. Its goal is to give balanced growth within our existing budget process, and that's key. We gotta remain cognitive of our budget and our restraints of of what we can spend. It's kind of, a lot of these things are they're goals maybe we can do in 5 years. Some of them are intermediate goals, and some of them we can start right away. So, rebuild the river walk. We want, or I'm thinking in the plan, we will extend it all the way to the River Club or Algonac Harbor. And I don't mean putting boards down there, but we should have signage there and a few amenities to kind of connect that to our downtown better. And I want to point out, it's a nationwide trend ever since COVID that waterfront events and activities are the #1 economic catalyst in small towns. That's nationwide. And what's behind you? Pretty nice waterfront. And in the plan, we're gonna look at lighting, bringing in public art, little fishing nooks, cafe patios, if you will, and gathering areas for small groups. And hopefully it will make it a signature, really a year-round destination. Activation ideas, and that's what you'll see, I have, you know, what we wanna do, an activation idea of what we need to start out and the impact. One thing we wanted to do is look at hosting river walk nights, we call it, or, in the summer featuring live music, food trucks, and local vendors. And I know Friday, we're already doing something there, and my thing is we'll build on, it's already existing, we'll build on that and try to expand that. look for grant opportunities and development. For the boardwalk, there's DNR passport grants, there's DNR trust fund grants that would, work. The Ralph C. Wilson Foundation would definitely work, and I have in here work with Friends of the St. Clair River. They work really close with that foundation and other, groups. Bring in other, civic groups too, for input. Impact is gonna boost tourism, support our downtown retail, and reinforce Algonac's waterfront identity. Next is the Community Innovation Center. I look at that center, it's an awesome open slate of opportunity. And I say innovation because it should be and could be used for multiple uses. We're gonna transform the facility into a multi-use community hub. Hosting event space, it's really unlimited the things we can host it. I kind of perceive like a little mini convention center like they have up in Port Huron. We have recreation areas and small business incubator. Why? Because there's money available for them right now that we could tap into. Arts and craft area, the quilters, Jan, her group's already in there. I would love down the road to see a workforce and vocational training hub, teaching area for techs and could bring in boat building and mechanics. And a thing we should also do too is really conduct community listening sessions and to help guide our final design. So if anybody has any ideas or suggestions, please tell one of the council members or myself. There's no bad idea. Activation Ideas is partner with SC4, RISA, churches, nonprofit groups, and local businesses to provide youth, seniors, and vocational programming and recreation programs. We've already kind of started this, but we really have to expand on it. And also look for grant opportunities for its development. Impact, it creates local jobs, nurtures entrepreneurship, builds community engagement, and it's gonna anchor our downtown that drives year-round economic activity. This is more a longer term, but we wanna create a blue economy cluster. I say our marine trades and innovations, we will focus on that. We gotta get back to our heritage, point blank. Boat building, repair, marine techs, and we can do training partnerships within the industry to help create activation ideas. Get with local boat builders, Sensation, Chris Craft, other boat repair facilities. SC4 can definitely help us, marinas and the National Boat Builders for sponsorship and training programs. This will expand our economic base and that's our future to our marine history, or heritage, I'm sorry. Downtown storefront energy. We need to fire up a facade grant program and look for rent assistance. There's upper floor housing conversions that would really benefit Algonac, and empty store. We want to do an empty storefront tour. Let's get an inventory of all the spaces that are available and market it. Let's do a tour, and also then spotlight businesses. Like I said, develop an outreach program with local stakeholders, realtors, local municipalities, investors, and different partners with the EDA. This is what we have available. And these options are here for you. And then look for grant opportunities for second and third story flats, rent and facade grants. I know, Marine City just got done doing quite a few, flat, second and third floor flats up there for houses. Develop cross-marketing strategies with all local businesses. Our businesses should know everybody else's business very well, so they can cross-market and help each other. I know the chamber, there's a small networking group right here, but it would be great if all our businesses say, hey, you know, I know where you can go to get that, go right down the road here. And, that's very, very, important. Another, we wanna reinstate the Elginak DDA. We think we can start capturing money and help, do some of these ideas. And we wanna work towards becoming, it's called a redevelopment ready community.
I have my training.
Hmm?
I have my training.
Well, good, you can be in charge of that.
What he says I'm not.
But that's very important to get that, I mean, it,
They'll help with the DDA,
Yeah,
get that set up right.
really says a lot. And the impact, it's gonna increase walkability, revitalize our downtown, and attract private investment, which is really what we need. This is, I call low-hanging fruit. We want to have a single point of contact for businesses with a business liaison. We want one, okay, I wanna start a business, who do I call, you know? We need a goal for a 30-day permit review. That's our goal. We're not saying we're gonna give it to them, they need to be reviewed in 30 days. And we should be doing pre-application consulting. Create a clear business welcome packet to simplify the process. Activation ideas, internally develop a business-friendly culture and streamline the process. This is within our own staff. Cultivate relationships with Eagle, DNR, and with other permitting organizations. I think I've been on the phone for the last 2 days with Eagle for quite a bit on different things. Work towards a redevelopment-ready community, right, Don?
That's right.
Our impact is going to improve investor confidence, enhance Elginak's business reputation. We want to be known as a welcoming city.
And they're very good at that.
Okay, we want to link up with our regional ferries and trails, and our water access. To do this, we engage in tourism mapping, signage, so people know where to go. I don't know how many people go across the Wapple Island Ferry every day, but it would be great if we can capture some of that and keep them here. And same thing of the Harson's Island Ferry, everyone gets off that ferry and turns left. They need to turn right. And we, you know, I'd be in favor of doing some cross-border and regional marketing with that. Activation ideas, partnership with the county parks and rec, and hopefully we can get a kayak launch here. Kayakers spend more money than any other group. Actually, kayakers and bird watchers, believe it or not, because they all go out to lunch locally when they're done. And they spend money. Work with local ferries, Elginak Harbor Club, State Park, and County Parks and Rec to link people to businesses, and that's what it really, we have to link people to businesses. Impact, enhance regional tourism, strengthens Elginak's gateway role. 7, business growth incentive zones. This, it would target, blighted and underutilized properties. You coordinate this through the MEDC, and the St. Clair County EDA, and it would attract investment. Activation, you leverage MEDC and county programs to attract redevelopment. And you work towards becoming, it's called a small business hub, support hub. And there's actually quite a few of them already in St. Clair County. And there's grant money to make these happen and develop them. Impact, convert idle properties into productive revenue generating spaces. Okay, Makers and Mariners Initiative. We want to celebrate our craftsmen and our marine heritage. That's what Elginak's all about. It's something that our history and our heritage is something that nobody else has, and we have to celebrate it and embrace it. We do that through festivals, pop-ups, events, and public art. Support our local artists and makers and brewers. We have one in Clay, but we have a lot of, yeah, and I'm saying our artisans, our boat builders, our refinishers, that type of thing in our marine heritage. Hosts a boat builders and brews festival featuring local boat builders, boat refinisher riggers, and fishing charter captains. Impact, it builds civic pride, supports artisans, and improves our tourism appeal. Infrastructure for business. As we've been talking, water and sewer, we have challenges there. Broadband, I don't mean just cable, I mean, the higher speed, broadband and some lighting upgrades. And to do this, we need regional coordination, with our neighbors, our municipal neighbors, and our providers. And, I'll tell you what, I really think we need a tour boat running out of here. And, it would really help us a great deal. And of course with marina support. Activation ideas, engineer plan, upgrade our sewers, water, and road infrastructure for the future. Look for grants, low interest loans, and other funding options for the projects. And work with the planning commission and utility providers to prioritize and upgrade utility infrastructure as needed. And I'd love to be able to attract a company to operate 150 passenger vessel, they're called T-boats, for daily historical tours. You can do a historical tour around Harson's Island, one that focuses on bootlegging. You can change them up, then you come back and you do another sunset cruise with dinner, and target the Metro Detroit people for tourism. I think you would get 75 to 100 people here every day taking a boat ride. And, you drop them off and they'll be looking for something to do.
Too bad you sold your boat.
What's that?
Too bad you sold it.
Yeah, I know.
You used to have a 3-story one, I believe.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, 3 stories. Yeah, it was 150 foot long too. Impact is gonna modernize our business district and support long-term economic growth, attracting people to our downtown area, increase downtown vitality. Marketing and branding. We need a unified city brand, Elginak, I put in there, cause that's how I know it, the Venice of Michigan. We really have to create a tagline that everyone can grab onto and we can build on. So I'm open for suggestions.
We do call a lot of our festivals in the NAC.
Yep, oh yeah, no, I know it. In fact, I ordered some shirts that says Team NAC. We have to really feature and celebrate our local success stories. And collaborate with the Elginak Clay Historical Society on events. Our history is phenomenal. And, like I say, nobody else has that. And, then I have also in here with, business and tourism promotion, activation idea, brainstorm, with businesses, community stakeholders, and our marketing, for our marketing tagline and strategies. Events to highlight our history, work with the Native Americans. I'd love to do a powwow here. It's just one event. And, start business networking, groups to enhance local businesses and do cross-marketing and education. Impact, attract investment, enhance tourism, and boost community pride. Regional cooperation, partner with county, state, and federal groups, joint grant pursuits and shared industry, recruitment. Develop a Blue Coast corridor concept. Activation ideas is meet with regional groups and tell the Elginak story. I have in here join the EDA and work with SEMCOG and other groups for grants and sponsorships. Be in constant communication with our state and federal representatives and the staff. That's probably more important in this, with the staffers. Being more, you have to develop a relationship of being more of a partnership than a petitioner. Because, you know, they wanna help us too, and say, how can you help me help you type of relationship, than just have our hand out, we want. Impact, expands resources, increase leverage, and builds regional identity. Expand housing opportunities, mixed use and downtown housing. Identify ready-to-build sites and promote them to developers. We have pilot programs to attract investments. Support workforce and remote workers through flexible zoning and modern amenities. So many and activation ideas will align developers with Elginak's small town character and waterfront style. Work with MSHDA and St. Clair County to design a pilot framework tailored for Elginak's goals of downtown loft apartments or mixed-use redevelopment and underutilized properties. Support workers and young families and downsizing retirees by modernization zoning codes, permits, it's called ADUs, accessory dwelling units, with flexible workspaces and small lot missing middle, it's called housing. There's so many people that work remotely now. And they like it to have their office upstairs garage or another outside building that's not in their house. And, that is really attractive for younger and I'm saying 20, 30-year-olds, people, that work remote, and that population is growing ever so fast all the time. Encourage designs and fit Elginak, encourage and design, designs that fit Elginak's architectural character while improving density and walkability near downtown. The impact is expands the housing supply, attracts new residents, professionals, stabilizes year-round population, and improves the city's long-term tax base. Market Elginak living. Why Elginak? We need to have a quality of life campaign. We need to develop relocation packets and work with real estate and employers, partnerships, activation ideas, develop market strategies and materials. Seek sponsorships from local realtors to defray costs, and connect with regional companies, HR departments, schools, businesses to attract new residents. We wanna have a nice packet together where, you know, why should you live in Elginak? Why Elginak? And put it together, work with the schools and realtors to come up with this. And then we distribute this on people, companies that hire people out of town. I would have them in, Selfridge Air Base and any companies in Mount Clemens area where people move to come work for them. They're in Port Huron and on down, you know, hook up with their HR people. Hey, you know, you're moving in town, you know, you might wanna look at this, you know, and have something from the schools in there. And we'd hopefully get some sponsorship from, realtors to, help defray the cost of this material. Low hanging fruit.
Could be, not to cut you off, could be a good YouTube, thing. to do.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You know, that's free.
exactly. No, there's a lot we can do with that, and I don't see anybody else in our area doing that kind of marketing.
Right, no, you're right.
And it's cheap, it just takes a little bit of work and thought, and it could really be a big impact on us. It's a government's mindset, we have to have the mindset we can make it happen, you know? Back in the 20s and 30s, when Elginak was in the heyday, we had a lot of old people here. And it's time we be bold again, I'm just saying. And, but to do that, I think we should have some type of a quarterly or semi-yearly, you know, roundtables with city council, DDA, stakeholders, administration, make it transparent communication, and we review this and revisit this. Publicly celebrate our wins, yes we can culture, and be responsive and proud to any of the problem solving. And that's where all the communication really works, activation ideas, internal education and cultural change of positivity, innovation, and cooperation. That's for everybody. Streamline local government, helping to solve real problems. Impact is build trust, unity, and sustainable momentum. For that, I'd like to thank the Elginak Council. And closing thoughts, Elginak's waterfront is the greatest economic asset we have, other than our people. Since COVID, I'll repeat this again, waterfront events, activities are the #1 economic catalyst for small towns nationwide. This is a 5-year plan. It must be very budget conscious, must be revisited and updated. And success depends on partnerships, persistence, community buy-in, ownership, and follow-through. Elginak's riverfront heritage is key to our renaissance into a thriving regional destination while preserving its small-town heart and waterfront charm. Any questions?
Just a couple comments if you don't mind.
No?
You know, the one thing to remember, and I know you know, but I guess I'm just need to say it is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
That's right.
This is not all gonna be done by tomorrow.
You know the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago.
There you go.
You know what the second best time to plant a tree? Today.
Today, exactly. I would encourage you, I mean, there are a couple of things I'm like, but that's okay. Anytime you have 7 people, you got 8 opinions, right? I would ask, or it's up to you, if you were to get a chart to put on that back wall with these things on there, and I would include the day you think it may be done by, or the hope, or and then as it's done, we can cross it out.
On my report, I actually have the timelines.
Okay,
You know, this is just a summary.
yeah.
And just something that people see.
If we have it up there,
People can
people
see
see
we
it,
have
you
a
cross it
plan,
out,
kids.
done. And it shows the progress, because what happens a lot of times are these things get done, but in a time frame, and people forget there was a time before when that
Right.
wasn't there, and they don't realize the advancements that were made.
Right.
So,
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, master plans, we do master plan
Exactly.
every 5 years, a lot of these things are in master
but,
plan.
and to
But,
update this plan
know,
every quarter,
Yes,
you've knocked off 4 things, you've added 3, or you've
Yep.
added, you know, so that it shouldn't just be, Soviet style, every 5 years we come up with a plan, it should be a living
Right.
document
That's what I said, right.
that, you
Yep.
know, grows on itself and shows the results.
Mhm.
I like this a lot. Every community around the riverfront that got redeveloped all started with music.
Yep.
And like right before Denise left, we went for a ride on the golf cart over by the ferry. And there's like a few trees, and we have this whole open area. And there's a couple dead trees that could go. I would like to see with this vision eventually, if we're gonna start doing more music, maybe we get a inexpensive stage, not a gaudy stage, but like, you know, built up with pavers and a nice pavilion top, and then put those bougie lights all the way down in that area. So then like, if you're doing Sunday morning, and we have an entertainer come in, and we have coffee shop, like a little local mom and pop coffee shop, I think that's how it starts, right? Just
Yep.
one thing at a time, so. I really like to
Absolutely.
go in the right direction.
and all of these things together, cause again, I've said a million times, you know, and like Curtis had said, you know, how we survive in the city, how we keep the city going, it's property taxes. And the thing that we need to focus on is things that are going to attract young families. You know, when they're looking around and they're, you know, I want a place that has things where I wanna raise my family. All of these things can fit into it
Oh, yeah.
and bring in, you know, while we're, you know, cause all of these things are wonderful. You know, and to bring in businesses, a few of them that are family centered, that people will drive out of the area for, cause we wanna keep city dollars spent in the city and not somewhere else.
Yep.
And anything that we can do to
Let me
bring
tell you,
all of that together.
anytime we bring somebody from Oakland County, the other side of Macomb County, out here that's really never really been here or experienced
Yeah,
it.
cause St. Clair County's another planet to
Yeah.
them, so.
Plop them on the river
Yep.
on a nice summer day, they say, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. And,
I know I spent a lot of time at, beers, brews, and barbecues,
oh yeah,
and
that's,
I talked to a lot of those young
Most-
folks,
Oh, yeah.
and they're like, we're from Oakland County, or we're from, and they're like, this is the most beautiful town,
yep.
and
And that's what, you know, that's why I say if we had a tour boat where we brought, you know, 100 people in every day. And, I mean, sooner or later, something's gonna start popping. And,
We need to have the people, when they're standing out there, be able to turn around and look across the street and go, that's really cool too.
well, we need them saying, you know, there's a bank there. I'd love to put a restaurant there. And that's what you, that's
And to
what
bring
you
people
need.
in here who are going to want to invest, not just in a business, but invest in the community.
That's right.
Not just
And,
a storefront.
and like, it's a culture we have to cultivate.
Yes.
You know, with our residents, with our civic groups, and it's gonna take some buy-in, but, you know, you'll start seeing small successes, and that we really gotta celebrate it, and you'll get momentum growing. And this is how it happens, so,
And one more thing, since 2019, the home values in Algonac are up 60 to 80%.
Yeah.
So in the last year, if you look on Zillow right now, I think we have 7 active listings. Average day on market is around 34 days right now for our area. So people are moving here, people are investing here, but what now we need is the business owners to start
Yes.
investing in here with us to make this all
And,
come full
and
circle.
build here.
Yeah,
And build here. That's why, you know, we need to have a really active inventory. Where can I build a house? Where can I do this? Where can I do this? Well, we have spots. And I don't wanna get too far ahead of myself, but I was gonna come up with a job description for the business liaison. And I was gonna ask you, maybe at the next meeting, you would appoint the city manager to fill that role for now. So, but I'll put something together. As far as that, but, any other questions?
I think this is terrific, and you know what? It moves us forward,
Yep.
and that's where we need to go.
You know,
And like
and
you said,
because, yeah, go ahead.
You gotta take that tour of what's available.
Yep.
I mean, if we talk about businesses, our downtown, what is really available, what buildings are we
Right.
looking at, what
We-
kind of property?
We
do
wanna
have
do an
together?
event where we can walk, get a bunch of people, walk them through every storefront.
And, you know, not just the properties
No.
here along the riverfront, but there's buildings that, behind that,
Right,
that we forget about.
and I will say something too, so like, I'm not gonna call anyone or their boss, but there was a local investor that bought a huge complex and raised rates drastically. So when we lost half these businesses, it wasn't due to the lack of people shopping there, it was due to the increase in rent, so they had to look elsewhere. So that's why half these storefronts are empty, is not just cause people don't wanna invest, it's because they want discounts and they wanna raise rates.
Absolutely.
So that's something we need to fight with and work with too.
Well, that's
to
the
make
thing,
sure
how
we're
do
in
we
the right
fix that? How do we?
Exactly.
Well,
I mean,
well, another
Well,
thing.
part of it's already under works right now.
yep,
Another thing that's unique that, Michelle Benaghi has partnered with Sue over at Algonac Liquor, cause she owns the plaza, and they're doing
Yep.
twice a month markets, where all the small pop-ups get to set up into a large space that would not be normally affordable to our community.
And it was packed, I was in there.
Yeah, I was in there,
before
it was
Christmas,
cool,
and it was
yep.
So packed.
It was cool.
Was it?
and,
Nice.
you know, to morph that, we have a new facility that we could expand that and help those type of businesses out too.
I think we have to, I don't know if there's, information we can get from the state or whatever, but creating businesses in this day and age is very difficult as far as storefronts, is
Yep.
because everybody shops online. The pharmacy in town, and I guess I'm talking to the public, if you want that pharmacy to stay here, you better go
That's
there.
right,
Use it.
that's right.
I can't tell you the amount of people who get their prescriptions through the mail. Now, thank you, cause that supports my paycheck. But at the same time, my divided loyalty to the city is, go to that pharmacy so that he stays in business, and the other small little community things here, when you consider going to Marine City or New Baltimore instead of Flaming Grill, and we'll give a pass to Catch 22 cause they're close enough. You're hurting that business, and if you want another restaurant at the bank, if that were possible, they're not gonna buy it there if we're not supporting the
We're not
restaurants we
spending,
already.
spending
have.
money in this, out
You
in
gotta
the
spend
city.
your money here.
And that's the thing, how many times have we all heard that the city can't keep businesses in here? It's not the city that can't keep businesses
It's the
here.
people.
People have to support those businesses. And, you know, we can't, seven of us, we can't by ourselves support these businesses. So it's got nothing to do with the city is not making it to where businesses can stay here. It's the community that is going to make a business stay here.
Well,
That's it.
and, well, it's like, and I know what y'all get through the mail. People who get in dog food through the mail need to go up to
Exactly.
the mission, to the
Exactly.
pet center, and buy your dog food
That's
there.
one, yeah, we
No.
forget about that.
And we forget about that, because it's easy and convenient,
Right.
but at the same time, do you want the businesses here or not,
That's right.
you know? It's just that simple.
Support
Um,
local businesses.
Right,
That's
the
it.
demand creates the business, if there's no demand, they're not gonna come here.
Right.
remember too, when it comes to getting those sponsors for your Little League Baseball club, or even the skeet shooters at the school or whatever, Amazon ain't giving them boo-boo. It is the local businesses that do that.
That's right.
So we gotta make sure that if we're gonna bring in new businesses, that we're supporting the old ones, cause why would they come here if we can't even support?
Right.
Right, exactly.
Government doesn't create business, we
No,
just
it
create the
doesn't.
environment that the businesses can
Yep.
succeed in, and I think that's what your plan will,
That's right.
this plan will do.
It creates the opportunity.
So, we'll move on to a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, no.
I'm just-
Yeah, no,
I was
but-
gonna make that for you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Public comment. You have 5 minutes to speak before the council, anybody who would like to speak?
3 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna cut you short tonight, cause you know.
Nobody else?
Nope.
This green guy.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, yeah, the green guy.
And this is talking about one of our, businesses, isn't it?
I'm tired.
No, stop.
So we had a local business, and we actually have one local business sponsoring it. He built Colony Installation. He built 20 little snowmen so far and 1 big snowman. And I think 5 or 6 local businesses have bought in, a little bit of advertising. So right now we have 3 of these little snowmen left. And once they're gone, if there's enough interest, he'll build more. He'll build 5 more, 10 more. Depending on the weather, today we're gonna try to do it, and it rained all day. If it doesn't rain all day tomorrow, if you turn around, look out that window, you're gonna see a big snowman and a few of the small snowman. And the people who have finished them so far have shown just unbelievable creativity. It's gonna be pretty cool. So right now, there's gonna be 20 snowman and a big snowman out there. And if there's 25 or 30, this is the first annual Algonac Alive, something to do in the wintertime, snowman painting and decoration contest. And all the public, I don't know if you've seen this on social media, it's been 14 times a day. It's got nothing but positive comments from people that are participating, people who are not participating. They're all anxious to see what's gonna happen. So we have a plan right now. Snowmen have to be paid for, picked up, painted, decorated, and returned by February the 1st. They're gonna sit in the park the whole month of February, and we're gonna assign numbers to them and do some kind of a poll. And hopefully the poll can be put on the government website where people have one central location to vote on the snowman. And if you remember the Christmas tree lighting trophies, we're kind of duplicating it with the shape of a snowman. So the top 2 vote getters are gonna get a nice custom-made lighted trophy. And this is an Algonac Alive sponsored event. It should raise about $1,000 for Algonac Alive, and that money, I think, is gonna go toward the community center. And there's gonna be, I talked to Rocky today, there's gonna be an Algonac Alive meeting at 12 o'clock,
12:30.
12:30.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, so if you're a resident of Algonac, if you're a business owner in Algonac, I think everyone's welcome to come and join and participate.
Mhm.
So,
It's gonna be at the activity center.
yeah, $60 each, we have at least 3 left. And if the demand's there, Danny Walker from County Installation, he'll build more. So we should have a little snowman city out there, and it should maybe get people walking around and talking and at least slowing down when they drive by and take a look.
One of those might look real good in front of the McBride, Manley building.
I mean-
Sorry, didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I think I should buy one and paint it and decorate it. I don't know.
Do they come green or they?
That's the color of the foam.
That's
That started.
They've been painting them white.
Yeah, so I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
I
that
was
guy
assume
freaks
that,
me out a
you know,
little
I
bit.
just didn't know if they were available.
Yeah, I got one in my living room right now, and I met it this morning getting ready to go to work.
I got up and came down the stairs and said, oh.
I had the same thing.
I am gonna, get back with you on the art, cause
Okay,
we're
well, it's free
interested
for the art.
in getting
If
some
the
of
art
the
wants one, we're
consumers.
gonna donate to
Yep,
the art.
we're gonna get some consumers together and, you know, keep them, you know, focused and not, you know, painting each other. And, yeah, we're gonna work on that.
Okay, if anyone else wants one, just, check out the Facebook post, there's DMs to who to talk to, and we'll actually deliver them for you. Some
Yeah.
people, they won't fit in their cars,
Right.
so we drop them off for you.
Thank Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You wanna
Thank
give
you.
us the price for the public?
They're $60 each.
$60.
And basically, that's the cost of the materials. There's three beach balls there. There's two 24-inch beach balls and a 12-inch beach ball with a bunch of foam sprayed over top. And so Danny's actually spending about $60 each to make them. So right now, he's got probably $1,300 or $1,400 donated to the city. So, and when the contest is done, they're yours. You keep them, you know, you do what you want with them, and Janice is giving you
You might get
entertainment.
a free
Store it in the bio hall?
I'm thinking the community center, you know, there's a room back there. But
Oh, no, it's gonna be my little friend.
it's fun, and
Oh,
people
no.
are talking about it, so that's a good thing.
Thank you so much,
Thank
that's a
you.
great idea.
Good job.
All right, move on to city manager's report. Mr. Bryson?
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
We're gonna let him
Hills.
talk more.
Yes.
Yes, I know. I don't know if anyone, noticed, we had a flashing light installed at the stop sign on Smith Street at M29. So, makes that, corner a little safer. We had an issue this past weekend, a stop sign at Market and Mill was hit. The driver actually got out and took the sign with him. Like a deer, you know? So anyhow, our DPW and our fire department, they put up a temporary sign and that will stay there until, we can get a new sign, installed with the street signs too. So, activity center update, working with the pickleball people, they are playing pickleball, believe me. They're there, every day, every morning except Sunday, from 9 to noon. And, I just talked to them today, they're actually getting a lot of people coming down from St. Clair to play. So, they're getting, and they love it. So, we're working on getting the basketball, going in the evening. Oh, and they also play, 4 to 7,
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evening. So, that's available. I mean, we had a whole hiccup on this because, you know, we had a grant, some state funding available, and it was cut, to a tune of $500,000. Spent a lot of time on the phone, with state representatives. They assure me that it's gonna be put back in the budget, and I'm actually gonna ask for more than 500,000, but, they may request me to go and, testify on it in somewhere in January. You know, because, you know, we had plans on, redoing the floors in the hallways and new ceiling tiles and things like that, and a new roof.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, we still have, you know, some leaks. And in fact, I was gonna call them tomorrow, see if they can patch it a little better for us, I don't know. Our, stage, unfortunately, when it rains and snow melts, we have water coming down in the middle of the stage, so. It's an issue, but we're gonna work through it, right?
Right.
And make it a great spot, so, they're saying that probably the money may be available to us around April, sometime in April.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm, advertising for a zoning compliance officer, we've received several good applicants, so that's a good thing. Been looking for, a new water plant operator with an F2 license. And I'm actively seeking a more permanent solution to this.
Those are hard to find.
Well, I got a couple options. We have a couple options, I'm working through it with whatever's gonna be best with the city. I've been talking to Eagle, I was quite honest with them, if I can't find anyone, we're gonna have a gap about 3-4 months where we don't have an F2.
Right.
And I'm asking them for forgiveness, if we could operate non-compliant if we still do the same reporting, monitoring, testing, that type of thing. I actually have a phone call scheduled for Thursday with the big boss,
At Eagle.
of Eagle to talk about it, and see what solutions. I told him, I need you to help us so I can help you, so.
I'm sure they know
The
that
solution,
getting
yes.
people with F2 licenses are,
Yeah, they're
it's
hard.
difficult at best.
I did contact someone if needed as a F1 that would fill our gap
Mhm.
until we can hire, our own F2. So we're gonna figure out that solution, we got a lot of options, a lot of moving parts. Our drinking asset water, management grant, DWAM, the LMAC received an amount of $319,000 and some change. It's now considered closed, we should be getting our final disbursement request for $27,000 soon. It was processed. SUMA is,
SLUA. I
whatever.
can't really do that.
I can't say it either,
You just say authority,
just say waste treatment.
the authority. The authority,
that thing,
yeah.
is moving forward with it's called a bond anticipation note. And it will cover the engineering costs of the wastewater plant updates. And before, we were looking at LMAC paying $38,000 a month for this, and you saw our fund balance,
Right.
you know, that can't happen. So we're gonna get this anticipation note, and, our bill will probably go from $38,000 a month to about $1,800 a month.
Awesome.
And we could write that check. In fact, I have a meeting Wednesday to finalize that with them, to get it going, so I just wanna let everybody know. I requested a review of our water and sewer rates, and budgets and rates with, MRWA, the Michigan Rural Water Authority. It's free, independent service, and it's very detailed. Marine City is in the middle of it now. I'm going to make their, initial meeting with them the 3rd week of January, they penciled it in.
Did they? Yeah,
Yeah.
cause I
And,
wanna go do that.
And then it'll be a process, they'll lay it out, and, I'll let the board and everybody know.
They're very, very good at what they
They
do.
are thorough, and, this is what they do, it's independent, and, yeah. There'll be a lot of work to get through that, but it's work that needs to be done.
Yes.
Receiving a quote to rebuild the parts of the, clock in the park, for the interior of it. It needs a new control board, motor, everything, it's about $6,000. And then they give us, to do the facelift, to redo the outside, be another $6,000. So, there's what is it, the grant, or the fund,
Oh,
Milford Jackson.
yeah.
Milford Jackson
Trust.
Fund,
Yeah.
trust fund, we could run that through if
Yes.
the council so chooses. So I'm just bringing that out there. Let's see, for council's consideration. I emailed everybody, we're looking at, starting, ordinance review committee to review all of our ordinances, see if they make sense or not. It would probably take about a year to get through them all, and I'm looking at a committee that would, have one or two council members, maybe a planning commission member, two residents, and a business owner. So if anybody wants to volunteer for this, we're talking about doing one meeting a month. It'll be a public meeting where they sit down and discuss, you know, the ordinances. And it would be an advisory committee, and they would come in with, recommendations to us. Actually, it would go to the planning commission first, and the planning commission meets it up and then hands it over to the council. So, that's, in the works, hopefully. Met with the new business, Elginak Pharmacy. They're waiting to organize a ribbon cutting ceremony and an open house. I'll let you know. And also, I haven't talked to them personally, but we have another new business moving into town. It's, Zeff's on the Lake. They have a wonderful restaurant in St. Clair Shores. They're gonna move into the Elginak Harbor Club. And that will be a definite upgrade. I'm excited about that. We also want to remind everybody, if they so inclined, we're looking for a new ZBA member and 2 planning commission members, I believe. And that's it.
Questions for Mr. Bryson?
Anybody else want to go first? Just a couple of things. First of all, to give credit where credit is due, I've actually stolen this idea from, Councilman Scarbeck. Cause when he has festivals, he puts banners all around the fences.
Yep.
It could be, if you do that gym and they're playing pickleball and they're from St. Clair, maybe Flaming Grill and all these businesses wanna put their banners all the way around so that when these people come here, Flaming Grill, I'll stop and get something to eat. Could be a good idea. I just wanna talk about the clock for a second. I didn't know it was broke. I never look at it. Anybody ever look at that clock to see the time? Is it really, we really gotta think about, is it worth 12 grand? Or could we use the 12 grand for something else? Like, I don't know.
Well, I know it's broke.
New boards for the boardwalk? That's just my opinion.
Yep.
If people have a different, that's fine, but I don't you got a clock on the radio in your car, you got a clock in your phone, you got a watch here. I'm not sure it's worth.
Well, that's for you guys to decide.
Yeah,
I'm just giving
That's for
my,
you guys to decide.
well, I can't
I
give
know
my 2
it's
cents
broke.
because we don't make pennies anymore.
Right,
But I at least wanted to give my opinion.
okay,
So I'll leave it at that.
okay.
Okay.
It looks nice.
Um,
I like that.
She does get a lot of calls.
I get a
Oh,
lot
do you
of-
really?
In the summer,
Wow.
I get a lot of calls saying, hey, our clock's not working.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a lot more than you think.
And that's fine, but
Yeah.
Well, either we should fix it or get rid of it.
fix it or get rid of it,
Right.
one way or the other. You know, I don't know. I just have never, I didn't know it was broke.
I didn't know.
Get rid of it, it's
Um,
gonna cost money too.
We need to get on the city's website a list of, you know, and section that's Elginak Activity Center and the things that they get.
Our
how much
website needs
we-
drastic
Yeah, but
revamping.
somebody had asked me the other day and I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
how much it's gonna cost to do this, that, or the other thing. We need to get that somewhere on the website. You know, yeah, we're gonna redo it, but we still need stuff on the website.
So the activity center is open,
Yes, we did a soft opening,
okay?
we called it.
Yeah, the
Because I have
walk-in
people that
center.
call me and say they've gone up there, they walked up there, they can't get inside, but they do see the quilters in their sewing room.
Yeah,
Lights are off, so isn't that open all day long?
No, you
or
have to buy a key fob.
a key
You have to
fob,
buy a key fob.
yeah, for entrance.
Can you walk?
There's $30 for residents, $60 for non-residents.
Are there walkers in there yet?
Yes.
There are,
Yes.
okay.
In fact,
And
we
that
just
was
had
the
2
reason-
more today,
Did you? Okay.
That was the reason I asked is
What's
cause,
that?
We had 4 today.
4 more today.
well,
Wow,
and because
okay.
there was somebody on a St. Clair website, and was asking where there's indoor walking.
Right.
And I'm like, we got that there, but I'm like, I don't have a clue
Yeah,
so
I
what's
would
down
put
these.
Like I say, it's a work in progress.
Right.
You know, ultimately, the floors in the hallways need to be redone.
Right,
We just put in today, motion detector lights on the bathrooms that work well. I'd like to see them in the hallway, we have them in the gym. But the pickleballers keep on turning the switches off,
Well, we gotta do something about that.
but,
Can
So-
you email us just for, like I said, I had somebody ask, and what we're at right now with costs and programs right now?
I don't know.
You don't know?
But
Who
the,
knows?
So like if somebody wants to play pickleball, who do they call?
Oh.
there's,
you-
Yeah, these kinds of things.
Oh,
The
yeah,
stuff that-
yeah,
The
you-
stuff
you-
that's
you
already
come
going
in.
in there.
Yeah, you
So
come
I
in,
give you
and
information.
get a fob, yeah.
Okay.
Probably
Yeah, we're
just show
putting,
up.
it- we're
And they
putting
come in here to
together,
get the fob.
yep,
Yeah.
we're putting together a
Okay.
schedule of events.
Okay,
And we'll have it posted, like I say, we just ironed it out,
right,
4 o'clock today.
Okay, good.
okay.
So-
Thank you.
Okay, good,
And-
thank you.
and the pickleballers volunteer their own nets, so we have no nets, and they're not our nets, they put their own nets in, they striped the floors. They went in there and they did all, like, that's all their stuff in there, so the city didn't have to buy anything.
Okay,
Anything else for Mr. Bryson?
God, I hope not.
Listen.
Alright, we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of the regular minutes of the city council for December 16th, 2025. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to item new business, is item 11A is to approve water plant purchase order for chemicals not to exceed $20,000. The last time we purchased chemicals was July 16th, 2024. A large factory that manufactured chlorine did shut down during COVID and has decreased regional supplies. This project was approved by Clay Township Board on December 22nd, 2025. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve water plant purchase of chlorine, fluoride, sulfuric acid, and citric acid from Water Solutions Unlimited, whose address is 295 Industrial Drive in Franklin, Indiana, for the period from January 1st, 2026 to through June 30th, 2026, and an amount of not to exceed $20,000.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey,
Yes.
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarba.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving on to item 11B is to approve water service installation for a new home at 1510 Michigan. We have an invoice for $4,500. It was more than expected because it was the main was 200 feet north of the address on Michigan. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve invoice from Duluth Construction, for installation of water service at 1510 Michigan Street in the amount of $4,500.
Support.
Comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey,
Yes.
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarba,
Yes.
Councilman Bembas,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item 11C is to approve special event permit for Jacob's Ladder Farm and Home to hold Riverside Market and Riverfront Park. Riverside Market will be a farmer's market held at Riverfront Park on Fridays beginning May 8th through October 23rd. The market was previously held in Smith's Recreation, but was moved to Riverfront Park last year, which proved to be a better location. This year is requested to expand the hours from 3 to 7:30 to 1 to 7. The applicant has also requested that the market open at 12 p.m. on the day of the Blue Water Antique Yard Sale. Michelle Benaghi will run the market, which will include farmers and small businesses. Vendors will pay $10 per week for a booth. The market will not be held when major events are scheduled in the park. The permit application and all required document has been received and approved by the administration. The safety and security plan is being reviewed by the St. Clair County Sheriff. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve the special event permit request from Jacob's Ladder Farm and Home to hold Riverside Market at Riverfront Park on Fridays beginning May 8th through October 23rd, 2026, from 1 to 7 p.m. pending St. Clair County Sheriff approval.
Support.
Any discussion?
Thank you for doing what you do.
Yes.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We move on to 11D, is to approve an agreement for continued water plant services between the city of Algonac and Joshua Stewart. In September 2025, Joshua Stewart, water plant superintendent, submitted his notice of resignation. Administration entered into an agreement with Mr. Stewart to provide oversight and assistance as a licensed supervisor to ensure continued compliance and operational continuity through December 31st, 2025, or until a replacement with a required license could be found. Due to the lack of qualified licensed operators, Mr. Stewart has agreed to continue as a primary service provider on a month-to-month basis at a rate of $1,400 per week beginning January 1st, 2026. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement for continued water plant services between the city of Algonac and Joshua Stewart beginning January 1st, 2026, and authorize the city manager to sign the agreement on behalf of the city.
Support.
Any discussion?
I just have a question regarding the service agreement. I know that back in September 18, when we got the city manager's report saying that, Josh will go ahead, Mr. Stewart will go ahead and use his license just based on $750 a week. What was the increase? Why is he requesting an additional increase? Is he gonna be present more in the plant? Do we not have enough bodies to make sure that our plant is staffed?
You want an honest answer?
Yeah, I would like an honest answer.
He's holding a gun to our head.
Say that again?
He's holding a gun to our head. We're required
That's what I thought.
to
Okay, so,
have this.
we do, so when,
And like I say, I'm looking for other options.
Mhm.
And, he since said that he will be done at the end of the end of January
to January.
anyhow. But
Okay.
this will hold us through January, and like I said, we're looking for other options, to get us through where we can, have a permanent solution in place.
Right, and there was no other option, like there are other water plant superintendents that do carry the license required. I know that we once had one here in the city of Algonac. I don't know if that gentleman was available. I do know that in East China Township, there's also a superintendent that holds those. But,
I've talked to every water plant from quite a ways. We actually have, someone at the, city of Port Huron that might be interested to help us out while we have this gap. And then, like I said too, we're working with Eagle to.
right, see what you can do.
Yeah.
So then on the agreement, bullet point number 7, you have additional staffing and licensing coverage. So, in addition to the terms agreement, the city of Algonac shall engage a qualified licensed alternate to serve as a secondary superintendent to ensure continuous compliance. Is that what you're referring to, somebody from, and so,
Yes.
would their wages be the same as what we're
No.
paying? Okay.
No.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, I
Oh,
didn't
go
mean to
ahead.
cut you off. How long do you think that, before this is rectified?
I may have it fixed by Thursday, but when I'm done talking to Eagle, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's.
Okay. So we're not talking months and months.
No, I'm talking a week, 2 weeks. Yeah, we need to
Definitely, yeah.
get this figured out. And there's a lot of, unfortunately, moving parts. And, we're working through it best we can. Let me tell you, everybody, it's a problem that we're not the only ones that
Right.
we have it.
Right,
And that's why I'm trying to work with Eagle also to come up with a workable solution. Jason, who's in our plant right now, he can't write for his F2 actually till fall. I think it's October or November. And he is literally 1 month shy of service to write in May. And, so there's an advisory board, it's called, with Eagle, that we can petition to, and we're pretty confident they're gonna allow him to write in May. So, so we're working on that too. I emailed them Monday, I still haven't gotten a response from them yet. But, you know, what the process is to get on that and everything else, but, I've been assured that we'll probably be successful at that. So, it's just a process we're working through.
I
Thank
know
you.
it's tough.
Any other,
Yeah.
just, anybody else? Can I have a roll call, please?
So, for the roll call, it says absent Carter and Scarback, so is that during that time? I don't know, I'll just do it all and see what happens.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just roll with it.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey,
Yes,
Mayor Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Meldrum,
No,
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Councilman Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Carter.
Yes.
Moving on,
Did you vote, Rocky?
didn't I vote?
No.
I
If I-
think so.
Yeah, I did.
You were
I thought-
my second person.
Yeah.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, I
You
did.
go.
Oh my gosh, don't make me sweat.
No.
it's because we've been here a long time, we're not usually
Yeah,
here.
we're not used to it.
Whew, okay.
Alright. Moving on to accounts payable.
Make a motion to approve accounts payable and payroll in the amount of $217,052.88.
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Meldrum,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Councilman Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Carter,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey.
Yes,
Mayor Gillis.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Items for next agenda, Mr. Bryson?
We have an activities report from St. Clair County Sheriff Matt King. What else do we have? We won't have a presentation by me, so let everyone know. We have the, annual, cathodic protection service agreement, to consider. Lift state pump, the lift station on, State Street pump, repair. Repairs to the DPW F-550 truck repair, possibly clock repair, and, that's all I have.
Okay. Council comments, Councilman Bembas?
Hey, everybody, just to reiterate, if we are gonna bring in businesses in this community, we have to support them. It's just that simple, so, think outside the box when you need to buy or order something and see if you can do it locally. And speaking about locally, our food bank at the Methodist Church has a lot of food in December because of the holidays, and what happens after that is their donations drop off big time. People are still hungry, even though it's January. So if you have it in your hearts, or you have that extra can of yams or beans or whatever from Christmas that you didn't use, please consider donating it. You can either drop it off Fridays at the Methodist Church, Mondays at the Lutheran Church, or anytime, you know where I work.
Councilman Carter?
Thank you, Levi Manley, for your report. Thank you, City Manager Bryson, the business attraction plan. It's a great start, a great opportunity for us planning and looking forward. This Friday, at Colony Bowl, at 6 o'clock, for the family of Addison Hoover, there's an event. The bowling lanes are all taken, but there's dozens and dozens of raffle prizes. There's going to be live music, and it's an opportunity to just come and support the family, even if you're not bowling. So, and that's it.
Mayor Pro Tem Davey?
thanks again, like I said all the time, thank you everybody for coming here, I love seeing people here. Brian Van, thank you very much. Everybody goes, oh my God, an audit, but it's always, very interesting information. I already said, you know, you guys wanna keep businesses in the city, you gotta support them. They've gotta have a reason to stay. I wanna touch on, you know, it was discussed, during the audit presentation, you know, that we took out, what, $1.6 million out of our general fund for capital improvements. Well, I don't anticipate that city is going to be spending that amount of money on things anytime soon. So in order to, you know, yeah, we spent some money, now we have to put in the work to get the city to continue going forward with these things that we just spent a lot of money on. They're a wonderful start. And the things that are here, those are the building blocks to get all of this going. I mean, I would hate to see that we didn't utilize that and that we pretty much, you know, wasted $1.6 million to stay right where we are right now. And everybody wants to see stuff here, but you know what? When you sit around, you know, or go on Facebook and complain, nothing gets done, this is, you know, people see that. People are thinking about investing in the city, see that. And they're gonna, why bother? We need to get people who are gonna put businesses in here who want to invest in the community. Then the community has to show them that we are gonna welcome them. And that starts with each of us. It's not just people sitting up here, it's not people in this building. That's all I got to say about that.
If I could piggyback,
Good God.
the money spent on the pool is good.
No,
It's-
but
it's
you
great.
understand.
I agree, I just wanna know when's the pool gonna open.
Oh, God. Pay no attention to the man. Don't say a word. Do not say a word. Do not answer. Do not answer him.
Sorry.
Councilwoman Melton?
Just thank, Mr. McBride for, your services, Alicia for a good clean audit for us, and everyone who's, here in attendance, thank you.
Councilman Scarlett?
I'll make it short too. Thank you, McBride and Manley. Thank you, Alicia and administration. And that's it. And, oh, thank you guys for coming for an hour and 52 minutes.
Almost two.
I'm gonna make mine real short too, as far as, you know, the clock, things like that, I'm all about fixing things, because if broken windows, broken business. If we don't invest in ourselves, nobody's gonna invest in us. If we have something broken, we need to fix it, but that's just, I mean, whether we fix it or take it down, but I don't like broken things anywhere. Business plan, I love it. I love the fact that we're actually focusing on businesses. I'm glad that you have alternative solutions to the water plant situation, cause I don't think any of us wanted to vote for that tonight. We just know we have to keep a water plant running.
Alright,
And other than that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Oh, God,
Make the motion to adjourn at 7:48.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
yes. Aye. Thank you guys for hanging out.